ValveTime.net.
Hi, and welcome to the ValveTime news for August 25th, 2015. Each week we bring you the biggest talking points regarding Valve and the community. Valve clearly heard us mention the lack of a Team Fortress 2 update in our last episode, as this week brought about two different events for TF2, not just one. The first kicked off with a new blog post on the TF2 website which revealed Pastime, a new beta game mode created by Escalation Studios. While Escalation Studios are quite well acquainted with working alongside other game studios and multiple projects, Pastime is also the result of Bad Robot, who are seemingly designing the game mode. As many of you may know, Bad Robot is an American television and film production company owned by J.J. Abrams, making the Pastime game mode the first collaboration between them and Valve since J.J. and Gabe's now famous discussion at DICE 2013. Now, enough with the background info, what exactly is Pastime? Well, the game mode pits both red and blue team against each other in a symmetrical and tight map known as Warehouse, where they must attempt to score more points than the opposing team by picking up and escorting a jack ball to the enemy goal. The first team to reach the default score limit of 3 wins the round. Picking up the ball provides the player with a number of neat bonuses to help them, including regular health regeneration, faster movement speed, and the ability to see the location of enemy players through walls, while also losing the use of their weapons. Ball carriers can also pass the ball to nearby players, which can, of course, be intercepted by enemy players, helping to differentiate Pastime from the age-old capture the flag maps. While there's definitely a perceived emphasis on scouts being able to quickly transport the ball across the map, classes such as the Heavy, Demoman, and Engineer can also prove invaluable as defenders. As we mentioned earlier, the game mode is currently in beta and is therefore still a little rough around the edges, while also being restricted to its own beta-only matchmaking section. Regardless, Pastime definitely offers its own distinctive twist on Team Fortress 2's gameplay, so be sure to try it out when you have the time. Warehouse and Pastime weren't the only changes introduced with Tuesday's patch, however, as Gunmetal Community Map Sweden was also updated to fix a series of long-standing problems. These include opening a second window above the capture point to make the rooftop area more easily accessible, and placing screens between the team-oriented doors to prevent medics and snipers from killing each other at ridiculously long range. More details about these alterations and many others can be found over in the update changelog should it interest you. That wasn't all for Team Fortress 2, however, as this past week also saw Valve announce the 5th annual Saxxy Awards. This year's competition will be open to submissions between November 4th and 11th before voting takes place through the 16th. Winning videos will then be selected by Valve and the community-voted finalists before being officially announced on Wednesday, November 18th, 2015. Like last year, Valve is expanding the Saxxy Awards beyond just Team Fortress 2, allowing entries focused on other universes to also be submitted, including those using the worlds or characters of Dota 2, Half-Life 2, Portal 2, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, etc. The categories for this year's competition have been changed around quite a lot, as the Best Action, Drama, and Comedy categories now have a maximum time duration of 3 minutes per video. The 3 exceptions to this rule include the winner of the Best Overall category, which can be selected from any category, the new Best Extended category, which allows submissions up to 5 minutes in length, and the returning Best Short category, which is limited to 1 minute. While the rules have changed, the prizes have not, as each contributor to a winning video will receive a rare Saxxy in-game item for Team Fortress 2, while the winners of Best Overall will be flown to Seattle free of charge and given the chance to hang out with Valve's developers for a day. More rules about this year's competition and the new YouTube submission option can be found over on the official announcement post, which we recommend checking out before getting stuck in. With the International 2015 now long behind us, it's time to look forward to the first of Dota 2's majors. For those who may have forgotten in the months since the majors were announced, these events will be run by Valve and third-party organizations throughout all 4 seasons of the year, with the International filling in as the summer event. They are, of course, designed to try and keep the Dota 2 competitive scene alive and kicking throughout the year, rather than forcing an unbeatable spike in summer followed by a low period of team switches and reshuffles. A blog post released on August 21st revealed the first information regarding the upcoming Fall 2015 major, which will apparently take place in November 2015. Prior to the main event, open qualifiers will take place between October 6th and 9th before the regional qualifiers follow from October 10th through the 13th. The open qualifiers will provide the chance for any established teams to enter into the tournament alongside the professional teams, who will be participating in their own regional qualifiers should they not be invited directly into the main event itself. Teams invited into both the regional qualifiers and the Major's main event will be publicly announced on October 5th, while any teams looking to participate should sign up on the new Major registration site to be in with a chance of entering. There's a lot more information about the Fall Major and its structure over on an FAQ attached to the registration page, which we'll leave you to check out in your own time. The HTC Vive World Tour is unfortunately still largely restricted to the west coast of the United States, but those living over in the UK can rejoice as it was recently announced that Valve's own virtual reality headset would make its first public appearance in the country at EGX 2015 in late September. EGX, formerly known as the Eurogamer Expo, is one of the UK's largest gaming conventions and is basically the closest poor British saps like Nick and Glenn can get to something like Gamescom or E3. The device will be shown off throughout all 4 days of the event from September 24th through the 27th, but it is yet to be confirmed which demo or demos will be available to try out, even if the Aperture VR demo is always a pretty safe bet. That isn't all, however, as Valve's Chet Falzek will also be in attendance to help organize the booth and to give a live presentation on Thursday the 24th at 3 p.m. entitled The Year Ahead in VR. Thankfully, for those not attending the event, the presentation will be live-streamed via the official EGX YouTube channel, barring any other technical issues which plague the EGX Res talk. As usual, both Nick and Glenn will be attending the event from Friday through Sunday, and they'll be sure to let you know if they learn anything new or have anything worth saying, which isn't very likely given that Glenn is involved. While it of course has nothing to do with us, we like to think our very own writer and editor Nick had something to do with the HTC Vive's upcoming appearance at EGX 2015 after discussing the subject in great depth with one of the HTC representatives present at the PlayHub's VR Game Jam back in July. Now, don't worry, that segue wasn't for nothing, as we recently returned to the topic of the VR Game Jam as promised. In our latest Spotlight exclusive episode, we delved into much of the additional information Nick acquired during his visit to the event, including details from the ongoing development of Steam VR, changes and hidden ideas from the Aperture VR demo, and even a small piece of information about what Valve may have up their sleeve for the release of the HTC Vive this coming holiday season. It's an 8-minute video, so we obviously talk about way more than that, so head on over and check it out at the end of this episode to see what all the fuss is about. Following on from Team Fortress 2's tie-in DLC for I Am Bread we mentioned during our last episode, this past week brought about a new themed DLC related to another of Valve's popular series. This time, it was Left 4 Dead's turn to take the spotlight, with all 8 of the series' main cast being added as playable characters to Zombie Army Trilogy on Steam. As a cooperative game based around shooting zombies with various high-powered weaponry, it doesn't take the world's greatest designer to see why Zombie Army Trilogy is a good fit for the Left 4 Dead cast. It's just a shame all 8 characters merely appear as cheap and easy reskins with no original voice lines or fun extra gimmicks. Regardless, it's free DLC, so we don't imagine fans of Zombie Army Trilogy will be complaining all that much. Plus, the creators of the science fiction comic series 2000 AD have created a new 12-page digital comic tracing just how the 8 survivors from Left 4 Dead ended up in World War II. It's not canonical or even officially backed by Valve in any manner, but we imagine it'll still be a fun read for those interested. 3 years ago, at the launch of Counter-Strike Global Offensive on August 21st, 2012, did anyone really see what would become of the game's success in such a short span of time? At the time of the game's 3rd birthday this past Friday, the game featured a total of nearly 8 million active players, while millions more tuned in to watch the ESL One Cologne 2015 event live throughout the weekend. While we're not going to go into the specifics of ESL One Cologne here on the show, we think the packed arena, outstanding production value, and uncontrollable hype perfectly symbolizes the success of the CSGO series' long and varied history, and the game's massive future potential. Happy birthday, CSGO! And on that overly positive note, it's time to call an end to this week of Valve News. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch TV, to check out our other great content, and to join in on the conversation over on the ValveTime.net community forums. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.